All right, hello, Metal Maniacs. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am absolutely thrilled today. I am talking to one of my favorite people in the entire world. Of course, the one and only, the indelible Matt McGachy, of course, of the legendary death metal band Cryptopsy. Cryptopsy.
Yes.
How
Hello,
are
my
you
friend
doing,
Victor.
sir?
I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be with you. I was telling my wife before we sat down that we've hung out so much in the past 2 years because my tours keep coming through Salt Lake City and we get to hang out and it makes me happy and I'm happy to be hanging out with you here virtually,
Yeah.
having another conversation with you. It makes me happy. This time we're recording it, which is fun. So other people
Yeah.
get to hear our conversation too. Hopefully we're interesting.
Yeah. We've had some great conversations in person, over a beer and at shows and over dinner. But yeah, it's always great to see you. Always fun to chat with you. And you are, as always, incredibly busy. You've had an incredibly busy year. A lot going on with Cryptopsy, a lot going on with you. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice apparently. I need.
Hydration.
Mm. Yeah, full disclosure, I'm a little hungover.
So am I, but I'm not going to drink this, but I do have this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was, oh, wow. Very cool. Cryptopsy
It's the
beer.
Cryptopsy beer. There's only a few left. Well, I have some left because they sent us a case, and then I went on tour and I didn't have time to drink it before the tour. So it was reprieved from my thirst, my insatiable thirst, for a month and a half as I was in Europe. But
Nice.
now I'm home, and now they're in trouble.
Very, oh yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. Who made that?
The brewery that made it is a brewery called Will's Beer, ran by an awesome dude named Ethan Wills. He used to be in the restaurant world and he
Hmm.
ran successful restaurants. And then during the pandemic, he opened a brewery as a crazy thing to do. He had a lot of help from the dude that runs Hill Farmstead. I feel like I'm saying the right thing there. I think I am saying the right thing there. Anyways, a very pertinent and important brewery in Vermont. I believe it's Hill Farmstead. I hope I'm right there. So they had a lot of help from that dude, and then they opened pandemic. Breweries are tough. So, anyways, he called me early April and was like, Matt, we're doing a collab with Mutoid, which is, if you ever come to Montreal, I got to bring you to Mutoid because it is the most metal brewery in
Oh,
Montreal, in Hochelaga. Very cool. And he's like, we need like a metal themed name and idea for this beer. And I was like, well, I'm announcing a new album on April 15th. And he's like, we're canning the beer on April 15th. And I was like, can I call you?
Kismet.
And then I had a phone call with him, and here we go. And I typically their branding is very plain, and they have just colors and words typically, not many images on their labels. And that was one of the stipulations that I absolutely wanted to put Martin Lacroix's art from the album cover onto the beer. That was what the phone call was really about.
Nice.
And Ethan was amazing. So we launched it, and it's basically sold out across Quebec, except I still have some left because it was in storage at La Canette, my favorite craft beer store, while I was in Europe.
Excellent. Very cool.
And it's a Kolsch. I should tell you what it is.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a
I was
it's a
gonna ask.
Kolsch.
Very cool.
4.5% Kolsch. It is crushable, dangerous. It's a little hazy color-wise. The yeast, they kept telling me that the yeast was going to settle, but it didn't. So it's a tad too hazy for a Kolsch, in my opinion, but taste-wise, it's amazing.
Excellent. Very cool. Oh, nice. Yeah, I love it. That is awesome. That is very cool.
But I'm drinking sparkling water.
Very good. Yeah, so I mean that's one of the many things you have going on. I know you're always working with different breweries, which I think is very cool. And I know during the pandemic or kind of shortly after the whole lockdown era, you did a whole bunch of collaborations with multiple bands and multiple breweries across
Yes,
North
my
America.
brutal North America project. That was probably one of the most stressful weeks of my life when we announced that and launched that. The leading up to it in organization was not so bad, but I was on vacation. I took a week's vacation and I sat in this chair and did social media for a week.
Oh,
And it was unhealthy and crushing. And maybe it spawned and inspired the two albums that I wrote about my disdain for social media and the internet. Maybe, I don't know, but it's definitely something that me and my wife discussed afterwards. And it's funny because the anniversary just passed, and I got, how Facebook sends you these reminders of like what you did. I can't remember what they're called,
Yeah.
memories or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like the rap party that I hosted for that on Zoom, and I got like a reminder of that, and I was like, oh, I remember that, and I remember not being stoked having to do
Oh, geez.
that. But I did it. And it put me in contact with a lot of breweries. So basically, Brutal North America was me teaming up metal breweries or breweries in general with bands in the same region to make them collabs. It was the pandemic. People had time.
Yeah.
It was a very cool project. I met so many breweries thanks to that. Sadly, some of them have closed since then because that's the nature of brewing. The market is crazy and collapsing in some areas for some breweries, and that's sad. So rest in peace, a bunch of those breweries like Cosmic Eye and Bone Up Brewing, Overhop here in Montreal. Um, I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but it's something that happens. It's sad, and I hope that those people succeed in other areas of business. A lot of bands were super stoked to have beers made for themselves, and it was cool. And then I turned Brutal into the whole metal and beer festival thing that I did here in Montreal for a few years, which is now defunct as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask if you ever would do it again. I know it, as you said, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of pressure.
The collab for all the band things? No, I wouldn't do that. I am thinking, and I've discussed this with you off podcast, about making beers for the upcoming tour. I feel like I'm too short notice, sadly, for this one. I sort of let the ball drop on that one. When you're juggling as many balls as I do, I feel like I've been dropping the ball on Vox and Hops things a lot, which is why the podcast is now on hiatus. There's just only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
And as much as I love the podcast and as much as I love the brand, Cryptopsy comes first, my family comes first, my job comes first, my friends come first. There's, I came home from tour and I had this chat with my wife where I was like, I'm giving everyone everything that I can, but I feel like everyone's a little bit disappointed in what they're getting from me.
Hmm.
And the Vox and Hops Thirsty Thursday gang is something that was always in the back of my mind that I wasn't upkeeping that community enough, and it was bothering me. But I just don't have enough
Yeah.
time or mental space for it. So podcast is on hiatus. I loved it. I dropped episode 500 with Danny Filth. It felt like a good moment to just take a break,
Yeah.
to put everything on pause, to, as you know, running a podcast, like just doing the interview part of it, the scheduling, the editing, the social media afterwards is approximately 5 to 7 hours of work, which happens every week, times 52 weeks. It adds up.
Yeah, it adds up very quickly. Yeah, and and especially, you know, when you're touring, I
Hmm.
mean, I've literally watched you downloading
Yeah. Yeah, you were there
interviews
because yeah,
while you're
that's
on
true.
tour. Yeah.
I was editing an episode last time I was in Salt Lake. You're 100% right. I remember that. I was like, I'll be right outside. I'm just uploading.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those moments are one of the moments that really motivated me to stop.
Hmm.
Because when I was on tour and I had to do work, because in an ideal situation, I always wanted to upload and have everything finished before I leave on a tour so that I can just go and do the tour and then have time on tour if I wanted to conduct interviews with other people in each city, which I have done. But when I have to edit on tour and trust Wi-Fi, which is any touring person knows that there's like 30 people on the Wi-Fi, so it's not very good.
Yeah.
It's not reliable. Those moments are key moments in the past year because it's been about a year that I've been thinking that I need to stop or at least take a break. That really motivated me to stop because I would just feel angry doing it, and that's not an emotion that I want to have in my life, especially on
Yeah.
tour or
Yeah.
anytime, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
makes
it's on
sense.
hiatus for now. The band is so busy. We're touring 3 to 4 months a year. That's a lot. I'm trying to upkeep my home life at the same time. It's important to do that. So I'm very focused on doing that at the moment, and the podcast just didn't fit.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I thought the that interview with Danny was fantastic. That was
He was
incredible.
great. He was
Yeah,
super sweet, super sweet. I'd never met him before. He was super
yeah,
nice. Yeah,
and
one of the secret
yeah,
things that we get to do. You know, we just
yeah, very
hop into
charming.
someone's house and have a chat with them and
Yeah,
connect with someone, and then I meet him later in life, and he'll maybe remember me, and he'll be, that ice is broken.
yeah.
And I've had that gift with so many people thanks to the podcast, and I'm eternally grateful for everything Vox and Hops has brought me. It's not over. It's just not on the front of burner anymore.
Not the focal point right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, speaking of podcasts and internet and social media and all of that. So the last time we hung out over dinner, you were telling me at the time, so this would have been, I guess, last October, I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm not
Nothing
sure at
was
the time.
recorded at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, you were
We were
right. You were
writing.
still
Yeah.
writing. And you told me, because I asked you like, hey, what's going on with Cryptopsy? Are you guys working on anything right now? Because at the time you were touring for this album.
As Gamora Burns. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic, phenomenal album. And yeah, you were writing and you told me about it, and I thought it was just hearing what you were putting together. It was so compelling, and fascinating. And then to now hear it, the labors of, I mean, I've got a copy right here.
Oh, and it's funny, I
This,
don't have one.
oh, you don't, I just got it. I mean, it was
Can I
released.
see it's shiny, right? The
Yeah,
logo.
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
see it? Because I haven't really.
Yeah, it's got
It's
the,
nice. Yeah.
let's try to get the shine on there. Yeah, it's a beautiful cover, amazing album, fantastic, and it's everything I and more that I was hoping it was going to be,
Awesome.
based on what you had told me about, which was I like, you gave me kind of a basic premise of what the idea was, and I'll let you explain it. I thought it was also cool, like the whole idea. This came to you in a dream, correct?
It was a dream, a crazy dream in August 2023. So before As Gamora dropped, I had this crazy dream. I was about to go on tour. We were back on tour for the first time in pandemic times. So I guess I was stressed and I had this crazy dream about a person fixing a machine. And they work on this machine and they tinker it and they're spending all day and it's hot and they're sweating. And then at night they strap themselves into this machine and the machine tortures them. And while the machine is torturing them, they love it. And they're like analyzing it and seeing how they can make it even more pleasurable. But they don't want to die. What they want to do is like just take themselves just to the brink. Like that's their goal. And then the next day they wake up and then they implement those changes so that it can torture them even more efficiently, elegantly, and it just repeats. The cycle just keeps repeating until they get that perfection, which is not possible and it's a fallacy, right? So it's just continuously happening over and over again, an insatiable violence. So the person is humanity, the human race, us. The machine is social media, and it's our relationship with social media. All day long, all we do is just create this fallacy that we showcase on social media. We're all fine. We're all doing great. The perfect idyllic image of who we want to be is portrayed on social media. And then whenever we put something up there, we sit back and we torture ourselves analyzing the impact that it has. Is it a positive
Right.
impact? Are there good comments? Are we getting enough likes? If there's negative comments, why is that? And then what do? We analyze all that. And then the next time we make a post, we implement those changes. And then the cycle continues.
Yeah.
And then another crazy thing is that when we interact on social media with people that we've never met before, like we've met, so we've had real face-to-face conversations. But like when you interact with people that you've never actually met in the real life, it's like two fallacies speaking to each other and interacting. It's like
Yeah.
fake. It's not real. It's the idyllic versions of ourselves communicating and interacting. And it's weird. It's just never going to end. It's never going to stop. It's only going to keep getting worse unless we as a human race make a decision to all stop together. I'm horribly addicted to my phone.
Hmm.
I'm addicted to social media. I'm addicted to, the interactions, the conversations, the impact that the band is having, the podcast, and I run the band's socials now. So I'm feel like I'm stuck doing it and trapped in it, and I have to, there's that I have
Yeah.
to do this. That's dangerous. And I need to re-examine my relationship with social media, which is probably why I wrote 2 albums about it.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
And
Brilliant.
that's the irony in it all, right? Like I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like, we'll be careful with social media, but there's times like I'm backstage and I'm on my phone. I'm like, imagine like people like this guy keeps writing about social media, but look at this guy. He's just as bad as the rest of us.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
hypocrite.
like you said, we're entrenched in it. And it's
Hmm.
really hard to break that cycle and try to have real meaningful conversations with people.
Yeah.
And you definitely can. I've met a lot of amazing people because of social media, like
Oh
yourself.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I see where,
It's okay to like break the ice and like
yeah,
obviously these two fallacies get along, and then like when you meet face to face, it's so much more deep,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you can see people's like little flaws, and I think that's what's important in relationships.
yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
The not getting along. That's another issue with social media is that we circle ourselves or surround ourselves with only like-minded people.
Yeah,
So now there's no place for debate. There's either you agree with me or I hate you.
yeah,
There's no more agree to disagree. There's no more, and that's something that I'm hoping that in the future, my children and other young generations find a way to debate and to interact and still be friends with people that they don't necessarily agree with on certain things, because social media only shows you what you want to see.
yeah. My so my children they're all in their 20s, and they all have none of them are on Facebook anymore. And
Mm.
I asked my
Yeah,
son,
we're old on say Facebook now, yeah.
yeah. I said, why are you not on Facebook? And he said, well, it's all you guys, all you old people just yelling at each other. It's just toxic. And I mean,
It's true.
he's like,
It's
it's
true.
boomers and Generation X just shitting on each other. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's true. It's very toxic.
And then ads.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, and that.
the title of the album came to me in the dream as well, which is
Hmm.
very interesting because I typically that's not necessarily true. I typically struggle with coming up with original titles when
Hmm.
it comes to Cryptopsy releases. The Unspoken King Flow came up with that title. The self-titled, I had no ideas, so we
Just
self-titled it, and it was a
spent.
return to form, so it sort of fit. The Book of Suffering was a Lord Worm title that I recycled, and As Gomorrah Burns, I did have
Okay.
before I started writing lyrics, so that's why I was like, it's not necessarily true, because I did have that one. That came because Cryptopsy was originally called Gomorrah. That inspired that. But it was an insatiable lust for violence was the original title
Oh,
until
okay.
Flo whittled it down to an insatiable violence. And it definitely fits like the thematic elements conceptually wise, of course, but it also fits how intense the album is, which is
Yeah.
good. Because I have the next concept for the next record in my mind that I
Oh,
can't
wow.
talk about here. We can talk about it off podcast because I actually like to hear your thoughts about
Sure. Yeah.
having a even firmer stand on something that would probably is probably a bit divisive for the metal scene, and I'm curious as to if that's a good idea or
Hmm.
not.
Interesting. Oh, yeah. Definitely
People
piqued my.
finally, everyone's sort of, well, not everyone, but a lot of people seem to enjoy the new record. It'd be funny if I came back and just divided them again, but not sure it's a good idea, but I do stand by what I believe in, so I'll talk to you about it after, but not quite yet.
Very cool.
So in Insatiable Violence, I chose topics for each song about someone or humanity suffering due to social media. So I'm very into how weird the whole mukbang situation is, the culture, the mukbang culture phenomenon. The fact that people can eat that much is mind-baffling to me, and the fact that us as humans are so interested in the voyeuristic um,
Yeah.
elements of observing someone do that is weird to me. So I wrote a whole song about that. Catfishing is a reality. You know, how many people everyone must know at least one person that's been catfished by some prince saying that he
Yeah.
needs, there's that classic thing, but there's other way worse ones, obviously. Um, the whole like Daredevil, I guess it's like Jackass, but modern Jackass elements of just taking massive risks
Yeah.
just to get that shot for social media, and then people slipping and dying, falling to their death.
All
That's
right.
Fool's Last to Claim is about that. The online child star phenomenon about like parents just utilizing their children as little cash machines at the sake of their childhood. Dead Eyes Replete is about that. There's been, so many changes and regulations implemented in film and television to protect children's rights, children actors' rights, but none of that exists on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
So these kids, there's an awesome documentary on Netflix about this particular mother and daughter. YouTube, the daughter's a YouTube star. I can't remember her name. I always intend to do the research before I talk about it, but I forgot. Um, and it's like a house, and all these other families have like sent their kids there because they want to be YouTube stars too. And the kids shoot all day, every day.
Wow.
And the mother's like the manager, and she takes a cut from each of the kids, and it's crazy. And the kids have, they like, you want to shoot, you don't want to shoot. It's fun, but it's not really fun. And that's scary.
Yeah.
Kids just not having a childhood anymore. It's very scary to me. The lack of boredom, the lack of the incapability of just doing nothing is something that scares me for the human race. Like imagine like, Newton sitting underneath that tree and he's on his phone and the apple falls on his head and then he's annoyed
Yeah.
and
Just
he doesn't realize that it's
like knock
gravity.
things over.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's because he was bored and he was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, well, why did that happen?
Yeah.
Instead of just
And it,
mindlessly doom scrolling.
yeah.
Um, there's body dysmorphia. There's a song about that. There's a song about FOMO, and that's like something that hits me so hard. Is like this is like a true thing that happens. I watch my friends announce a tour on social media. Let's say X band touring with Cannibal Corpse. I see that announcement come out on Facebook, on Instagram. I see it happen. My immediate first reaction is jealousy. Why not me?
Mhm.
I go out for a beer with that same friend, and he tells me face to face, or they tell me face to face, hey, I'm touring with Cannibal Corpse. My first reaction, pride and happiness for them. But for some reason, when it's on the phone, FOMO kicks in. Why not me? I'm missing out, fear of missing out. So I wrote a whole song about that. And then my coworker at work got a divorce, and he started online dating. And his experience was so sad that I wrote a song about that. That's our great deception. And then Malicious Needs is just I wrote my dream basically. And then Gornos, the French director that directed the video for Malicious Needs, took my dream and the lyrics and then twisted it even more into like a dystopian future, Black Mirror-esque episode
Oh yeah.
video, which was just far too much for YouTube, sadly. Go watch the uncensored version, people, because Gornos nailed it. It's just
Oh, it's
knocked it out of the park. It's a next
fantastic.
level, amazing music video. It blew us away. Like it blew the band away when we saw it. We just trusted him 100%. And when he sent us that first cut, we were like, holy shit, like this is next level weird. And we
Yeah.
were
It's
very, 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 very stoked about it. Slightly disappointed that we had to censor it so much for YouTube. So go watch the uncensored version. It's on Vimeo. You don't have to sign up for anything. A lot of people have been saying that you
free.
don't have to, it's not an extra thing you need to subscribe to. Just push play.
Yeah. And I think there's a link on the Cryptopsy Facebook page.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And
Metal Injection shared it, and then I think I dropped it in the comment section below that.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, I think you did. Yeah. Yeah, and it's that it's beautifully disturbing. It's
So cool.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cool. Yeah.
Really, the practical effects and all that stuff, just really well done.
Yeah, very yeah, it's amazing.
He was like, "Oh my God, if we have to censor everything," he was like, "If I had known, I would have gone even farther." Yeah, he's very cool.
Yeah. Oh, that is a great video. And it fits so well with the music
Hmm.
and especially with the lyricism, obviously.
And
Um,
it's such a, like a mechanical song. That song is like really, inspired by the end of As Gomorrah, Praise the Filth. It's a song that we all loved and we wanted to play live, but Chris used a guitar with a whammy bar and he doesn't tour with a guitar with a whammy bar, so we couldn't play that song live, or the obstacle was there, so we never got to it. So we wanted to bring those elements into the new record, and it definitely showcased itself
Mm.
on Malicious Needs probably the most. This like dark, dirty, melancholy, malaise, awkward feeling, that hangover feeling is something that we wanted to paint throughout the whole record, but it is definitely very well showcased on Malicious Needs.
Yeah, yeah, it's it's fantastic song. I mean, the album, all 8 tracks are just so perfect, so well written, so
Thank
fabulously
you. Yeah,
executed.
Chris knocked it out of, we wrote on tour, as I told you, in Salt Lake City. I was probably telling you that. It was not easy. The Death to All one was probably the hardest because we didn't have very many days off. So we were like writing after shows.
Mm,
The beginning of, I think it's not The Art of Emptiness, the one right after that. Our Great Deception was written in a moving bandwagon. And we got into a huge fight that night because after a show, there's some beers flowing. Sometimes like someone's writing something, someone has an idea, and then we don't quite listen to the idea immediately, and then the idea disappears. Huge fight. It was that we didn't we were like, put the studio away, we're done for tonight. Blah blah blah.
right.
But on Carnifex, we had 5 days off on that tour, and we would get hotel rooms. And when everyone else was resting on the tour package, we were in the hotel room writing for hours and hours. And we wrote a majority of the record on that tour. Flo and Chris and Ollie wrapped stuff up after the tour to like really put the songs together. There was also the impact of writing so condensed. Chris got home and started listening to the songs that we'd put together, and he was like, "Oh, that riff is in the other song." So he wrote riffs that were so similar that he had to go back and rewrite before actually finishing everything. We really wanted to write a more groovy record. We wanted to write a darker record. We wanted to add more melody. We wanted to really honor Cryptopsy's legacy by including a bunch of Easter eggs. People are on to, I've been seeing it on YouTube. We should have done like a contest for it because there's a crazy Easter egg on each song
Mm,
that some people on YouTube have been like, hey, isn't that, I'm not going to say too much because I'm not ready to. We might still do a contest. So there's something on each song that is not from this decade,
mm,
which is interesting. And it was like a crazy idea that we included just to have that feeling, that honoring the legacy Easter egg idea of having just little glimpses of the past while still remaining relevant in 2025.
yeah.
That was a big thing. But we don't want to be, we don't want to be like other bands. We still have to be Cryptopsy. So it was hard. And Chris pushed us, pushed himself. Flo was in great shape when he came back from Carnifex Run and crushed the studio very easily.
Yeah.
I tracked vocals about a week before Christmas, maybe like a few days before Christmas, actually. I think I finished on the 21st of December, something like that. Just lived at Chris's house, which is what we do. Nowadays, when I am tracking vocals, I go there with my kids. He has a child. He has a child. I have two kids, by the way, everyone. Everyone that's reading this Decibel magazine that came out there that says I have 3 kids,
Oh,
not true. 2 kids. Um, I go there. I live there. We work the whole time. We crushed it out. He's a genius. He's fun to work with.
yeah.
He's hard on me, which is great. You've seen our dynamic together. We
Yeah.
are typically very zen, and that's how we do vocals. But he's like deeper, scream deeper, push yourself, which really came out on some tracks, um, such as I keep talking about Our Great Deception. That song, Embrace the Annihility too. There's like really deep vocals that came out from Chris just pushing me to perform more extreme vocals. The highs that came in on this record are like new because I have this new project that I've been messing around with a lot more high vocals on that record.
Mm,
And that sort of trickled in because I was at Chris's house. We tracked for about 5, 6 days, the whole album, 4 days. And by the time we were near the end of the week, these new highs just popped into the session. And he was like, "Oh, these are really good." He's like, "We got to go back now and retrack some of the earlier stuff we do to drop some of these in," which I'm glad we did. So like Dead Eyes Replete, those like crazy highs right at the beginning, were not there. We went back and redid them. They were like more original high matte vocals, anyways, my normal tones. We went back and dropped these extreme highs, and so
Yeah.
it was a smooth process. Ollie went in right after Christmas. He tracked right between Christmas and New Year's, and then we mixed and we handed it in February 1st.
Wow.
Just crazy. And then the artwork too. The artwork, we had another artist paint us a cover, and then we got it January 15th. The deadline was February 1st. Keep this in mind. Um, because I had organized once. Vox and Hops brought me a lot of great things, so I'm good at organizing things. So I put the deadline January 15th so that we had time. Get the artwork, and we're all like, I don't like it. Told the artist, sorry, didn't work. And then we were like, we have 2 weeks. What are we gonna do? So I started hitting up. There's like 5 people that do album covers now.
Yeah.
There's Elleran Cantor, the dude from, I think he's German. There's Seelan, or Kalen, I think his name is actually, sorry. Stokerman, I think his last name is, from the States. So I hit them both up, and I was like, what can you do that, like how fast can you make us a cover? But they're painting, keep in mind.
Yeah.
Um, and they were like 5 months, 3 months. And I was like, okay, we need it in 2 weeks. So Ollie had the best idea of contacting Martin Lacroix's family to see what was available, or if they were interested, how they would feel about us using a piece of Martin's art for the cover. And they were super into it, luckily, and we're very, very honored and grateful that they were. And I'm so happy to have Martin's art on an Insatiable Violence. He was an amazing artist, an amazing human. People that don't know, he is Cryptopsy's old singer. He only performed on None So Live, and he passed away last year. He was wonderful, great vocalist, excellent, super funny guy, fun to party with. He would come out. He was a tattoo artist too, so he would travel and live in different areas and tattoo. So I've seen him, here in Montreal. I've seen him in Essen in Germany, and he would come up and perform with us. He did Graves of the Fathers with us at Turok in Essen a few years ago, and that was amazing to have him up there. He's just always been amazing, but he never had his chance to put his artistic mark on a Cryptopsy record because in None So Live, he was performing other people's songs, so other people's patterns. It's his tone, his voice, but it wasn't his art as per se. So this is our way of allowing him to have his artistic mark on a Cryptopsy record, and we're really proud of it. And when we saw the pieces that his family had left in his collection, we all were like, that's the one. There's like about 10 paintings around, and that was the one. And that's it. It's like there's no other pieces around it. That's the piece. Flo was like, "Oh, I just wish that there was a bat."
A bat?
And a bat, the Cryptopsy bat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then luckily, if you look in the fold, there we commissioned another piece, which actually had a bat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'm here. Yeah, you can kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really, really stoked that it all worked out. And then like deadline wise, it was amazing. We hit our deadline. That was another great thing because I'm always stressed about it. I'm sure Season would have waited a little bit, but it fit that. And plus, we get to honor our brother that's not with us anymore.
Yeah. I thought that was beautiful when I saw it, when the album came and I saw who the artist was, I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
we
That's so
really
cool.
like made Season of Mist highlight his name
Yeah.
in the corner so that it's very visible as another very important thing.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And I also thought it was cool, not only did you keep it in the family with the album cover, but you also have a guest vocalist,
Yeah, that's
previous
the Easter
member.
egg. It's a joke, right? It started as a joke, me and Chris just being silly. Chris always writes like I show up with lyrics and Chris places my words, the patterns over the song. So I'm a vocal puppet basically. And he was wrapping up that song and he was like, then it passes. And he was like, can we do that? And I was like, well, if we're gonna rip anyone off, we may as well rip ourselves off. And we like to do the honoring the legacy and including Easter eggs. So like super fans will be like, hey, wait a minute, isn't that? That's not us being unoriginal. That's us being respectful and we really, really want to upkeep and honor the legacy and keep feeding the Cryptopsy fans interesting little tidbits and Easter eggs to make them feel good when they go, hey, wait a minute, isn't that?
Yeah.
I love that. So we did it, and I wrote lyrics to fit that pattern. And then later that night, we were having a few beers after that vocal session, listening to it, and we were like, I think it was Chris that said, "Can we get Mike DeSalvo to do it?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" That's like, let's write it. Let's write it right now. And then he said yes, and it was very easy. Just
Nice.
amazing to have him there. He's the nicest dude. I met him thanks to Vox and Hops. We had never actually met face to face. We hooked up at St. Buck on St. Denis Street here before the pandemic, and we had a great night.
Nice.
It was a very good night. And every time I've seen him since then, he's just the best. So it was a very, very easy, fun little Easter egg tidbit that just worked.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Yeah, when I read that before I even listened to the album, when I read that he was a part of the project too, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah, the whole thing is
It's
just
important. The legacy is important.
yeah.
Everything we do is to upkeep and protect Cryptopsy's legacy. There was a misstep in the 2000s. We're not going to do that again.
Yeah, there was speaking there was and I've always loved everything you guys have done, but I know there was contention with some fans,
Oh yeah, well,
for
and
lack
with
of a
that,
better
and
word.
I've been saying this a lot recently, is the biggest issue with that record, the record that shall not be named, was our reaction to people on the internet not liking it.
Hmm.
And that is the biggest mistake that we made. It's not that I sang, it's not that I replaced Lord Worm, it's not that some of the songs were a bit different. It's that we alienated our fan base by being pompous assholes, and we shouldn't have done that. And I've said this, and I'll say it again. Whoever was doing our PR at Century Media should have told us to stop.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, it was a weird time. There was a lot
We
of
should not have done that. We
yeah.
should have just said, you don't like it? Okay.
Yeah, cool, whatever. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and and I think, I mean, I think it shows the growth of the band. I think, the willingness to address that now, especially. And I think, and you guys, one thing that I've always loved about you, just especially just as human beings, is your sense of humor. I know on the last tour, Matt, had a t-shirt made that said "Bring Lord Worm back," which I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
was
that was a drunk idea.
hysterical.
That was a funny drunk idea that I had when I was on tour with Atheist. And it took a long time to get it together and to commission it and to uh funnily enough, as much as I put it out there, I was like, if people don't like me, I may as well make money off them was my idea. It didn't sell as well as I thought it was going to. The None So
Really?
Cute did much better.
Oh
So
yeah, that was great.
either people saw through my plan or there aren't as many haters that want to wear a Bring Back Lord Worm shirt.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing too, is especially now you look at it's kind of mind-blowing to think you've been in the band for 20 years
Coming soon, yeah.
coming up here soon and four full-length albums as well as EPs and some live stuff too that's been released. But yeah, I mean the for me, like you are the vocalist of Cryptopsy. Even though there have been people before, which and great stuff, great music, all good. But you kind of have defined the band in a lot of ways for me,
Well, thank you, thank you. And I've definitely, over the course of the past two albums, I handle most of the PR and most of the interviews. So I think that's also reshaping people's vision of me as the Cryptopsy vocalist. Like I'm still gonna be the new guy forever, just
yeah,
the way it is.
right.
I'm okay with that. But young fans that are stepping in, are seeing me or only know of me. And if, you
Yeah.
know, if there's a whole new generation of extreme metal fans out there, and they're probably too young to have ever seen Lord Worm on stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing I thought was interesting too, I normally don't do this. I don't usually ever reference another interview, but I'm going to. There was a brilliant interview, and one just because I think he's amazing. You recently were interviewed by Belgian Jasper,
Yes.
and he's just a great guy, and a great interviewer, and just a fun dude. But I one of the things I found really interesting about that interview was that you said when you joined Cryptopsy, you weren't that big of a fan of the band, really.
Oh no,
Like,
definitely not. It's
yeah, I
not
thought,
that rock star movie there, Mark
yeah,
Wahlberg movie. It's not, that's not the story. I really thought this is an opportunity for me to showcase myself and help my other band that I was in. I was
yeah.
trying to be opportunistic and it didn't work. It was a failure. And it was a failure for many years. It was a long time. That's like I was telling Jess, my wife there, that I should think about creating a talk, like a TED talk, about persistence and not giving up. And even when you're down, still somehow finding a way to stick to it and putting the work in to get yourself back to where you want it to be. And I feel like I've done that over the course of the past 20 years almost.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, you look at, was it last year? I have no sense of time, but I think it was last year. Cryptopsy was awarded a Juno, which, if you had told me, or just even a few years ago, that a death metal band would get a Juno, I'd
Hmm.
be like, what? There's no way.
Yeah. But the Canadian Juno Committee is more open to including extreme music
Yeah,
um, compared to the Grammys.
yeah,
So people that don't know, Juno is like Canada's version of a Grammy award. So we did win that last year. It was cool. We were not expecting it. We were in the same category nominated alongside Cataclysm, Ken Mode, Voivod, and Danko Jones. And we all expected Voivod to win because they're such a legendary band and they've won before. And when you're from Montreal, they're one of the most important metal bands ever. They're pioneers and they're still being pioneers. They just collaborated with our symphony orchestra here and it was just
that's
incredible.
right. Yeah,
So good. So they're still inspiring after a 40-year career. So and they're still crushing. They're just amazing. Um, so we were expecting nothing. We did win. We were on tour with Atheist and we celebrated. It was a lot of fun. We jokingly now want another one, obviously. Um, we're always, we're jokers, you know that. So we're always making fun and teasing that we have more space for another one on our mantle and stuff. I say that, but I don't even have mine out. It's like put away in my room somewhere because I just don't have space for it.
Ollie will have to move all of his chicken McNugget toys.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's funny. Yeah. And we're happy to have Ollie with us full time again. That's
Yeah,
exciting. Um, he was in cattle since 2017, 2018 full time. So we were juggling for like 6 years. We replaced him so many times because it was just not lining up and he had obligations with them before us. But he made the choice to come home and we're happy that he has done that. And we're looking forward to not having, no, not having to replace him, but I say that, but Dom Grimao and Remy Le Grizzly, who replaced him over the years, are family to us now, and we're going to miss those personalities on the road and miss their energy. But Ollie's back, and it's going to be nice to not have to mentally use that time, mental space, trying to find replacements or lining up replacements.
yeah,
We can just focus on other things.
yeah. And he, and the nice thing too is he doesn't have to learn, or as much material, obviously.
Correct, yeah. And
Somebody
that's not it's not like a them versus us decision either. It was he lives in Montreal, they're a US based band. His girlfriend is here. His life is here. It just happened.
Yeah. And the
And it's
other
a
thing,
lot. Touring in two bands is a lot.
yeah,
He'd
that's
be gone on tour 6 months a year sometimes.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, and I think too maybe I'll regret saying this, but and I don't mean this negative in any way. The previous bass players, the other bass players, the touring bass players are great, but I think Ollie locks in so well with especially Flo, but also
Hmm.
with you and Chris,
Yeah.
obviously.
We
And it
just had
just
this
isn't the
vibe and
same.
dynamic.
Yeah.
We're the longest standing Cryptopsy lineup for a reason, and it's because we get along, even when we don't. And Chris and Ollie are a symbiotic being.
Yeah.
They're really together. And Ollie on stage is unparalleled. He's a beast.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something
As
I
much as I love everyone else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He is a beast. It's fun to watch him play. I mean, it's fun to watch all of I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing with and I've told people that, especially like coworkers of mine that they don't understand extreme metal. They think I'm insane that I listen to this kind of stuff and they just don't get it. And I've told them like, just like maybe even if you don't like the music, just watch a live performance at
Hmm.
the intensity of and the passion behind that playing. You might get it a little bit, like why I'm so into this. Like just it's yeah, I mean I find myself when I go to your shows now, one just I'm old and I'm broken and I cannot be in the pit and I cannot be up front. So I kind of stay towards the back and I'm just mesmerized. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of transcendental. It's I'm in another place. And part of
It's
it is
amazing.
just watching you guys play, and it's just fascinating to me. Yeah, I don't know how to put it in better context, but yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing that again with
yeah,
you in
yeah,
September, October with Nile, The Last
yeah.
10 Seconds of Life, and Cognitive. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a
that'll be
blast.
great.
I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. And that tour starts in September.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
think it's the September 12th or 11th. I can't remember.
So it goes through September into October. So in North America.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Mostly like the East Coast of the States and up across and then back.
hmm.
No Canada, sadly.
Oh, no candidate. Okay. Okay. So the US.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you watching, check that out.
Yeah, we're gonna
Looking at
play a lot of the new Met album. We're gonna play classics,
nice.
obviously, but it's gonna be an extremely balanced set of new era Cryptopsy and the legacy, which
Oh,
is what we're all about.
yeah. I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be so good. Um, well, for those of you watching, check in the description below. There's links to Cryptopsy. Go, if you do not have it, go buy this album right now. It is
Yes.
phenomenal. It is
Check it
perfect.
out, stream it.
Yeah,
It's something we're really proud of, and we're happy that it's resonating with so many
yeah.
people.
Bandcamp, you're on Bandcamp, right? I think it's on Bandcamp, but season,
Bandcamp, Season of Mist is the easiest, and there's like a whole back catalog that we've
yeah.
re-released with them too, which is
Oh yeah,
awesome. So
that's
there's
right.
a lot of stuff that people have been wanting to get their hands on that never could. Now you can, and the shipping is decent because Season is awesome.
Yeah, it was very reasonably priced. It was great. It came with the free download, which I thought was amazing.
Awesome.
I pre-ordered it like the day I found out that it was being released.
Awesome.
I'm like, I
Thank
have
you.
to get this. And yeah, it was great. I got the download the day the album was released, and the actual physical album came just a few days ago. Released on was it June 20th. So as
Great.
of this recording, a week and a day. It's been out a week and a day, and it's making a lot of waves. I've been seeing kind of all over the metal world on social media that it's
That's the good side of
yeah,
social
that's the good side. Yeah,
media.
like yeah, so it's which is very cool. So yeah, check this out. It's great, and also check out Matt's podcast, Vox and Hops. So many amazing interviews. Of course, he's
Yeah, yeah,
taking a
there's
hiatus right now, but
no
yeah,
new ones right now, but there's 500 episodes you can go back and check out, and
yeah,
there's,
so many
just
brilliant
little
interviews.
fun ones. And go, you can listen to like the first anniversary one of my top episodes, that for me was me and Lord Worm
Hmm.
live in front of an audience. One of the best episodes. He was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great one. That's very cool. Well, again, Matt, thank you so very much for chatting with me. Always a pleasure, of course. Can't wait to see you in the
I'm looking forward
fall.
to it.
We'll grab some dinner and some beers and rock the hell out. So
Heck,
it'll be
yes.
good.
Looking forward to it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, sir. Oops.